Hello. Welcome back to episode 2. I guess this would be. I'm super excited about this. I sent it out on the family Facebook page last night and then individually to a few family members, and I've gotten good feedback and people are excited about it. So that makes me even more excited about sharing and reading this all to you. So I will say, if there is anybody who wants access to be able to read this themselves, I'm more than happy to send you. I work on it in a Google Drive so I can share it with anybody. So if there's anybody who's like, would prefer just reading it yourself instead of listening or watching the videos, just let me know. And I can definitely send that Google Drive to you, and then you can have access to it whenever. And then I think it'll even alert you like when I update the Google Drive. So I can definitely do that. And the other thing I was going to say is, so I'm going to set a goal for myself to release like a handful of episodes. It's a weird kind of episodes, but I guess that's technically what they're called. Every Monday. So don't like hold me to that totally, because life is life and sometimes things happen. But that is going to be my goal, is to release a handful of episodes every Monday. So then you guys can have, a few to listen to throughout the week if you want to. So, now obviously today is Saturday, not Monday, but I'm going to try to get these out today. Because here in the South, we are expecting a very large, crazy winter storm coming in. I'm kind of praying that the predictions are just, the worst possible and it's not actually going to happen. But if it does, there's a great chance that we will lose power for who knows how long. And anyways, huge ice storm supposed to be coming in. So I just figured I would get a few episodes recorded today and get them uploaded. And then hopefully from here on out, I will try to do release, 3 to 5-ish episodes every Monday. So that will be my goal. So you guys can watch them. Now, like I said, I'm going to try to keep these around 30 minutes or less per episode. So I'll kind of just go until I feel like it's a good breaking point, and then we'll stop. But I will try to keep them at no longer than 30 minutes, just because sometimes I know that's hard to listen to. So, and then as I get pictures and things from here, like I talked about in the last video, I will put them in these videos so that those watching the actual video on YouTube can see the pictures. But if you're just listening on one of the podcasts, then obviously you won't be able to see the pictures, but you can always jump over to YouTube and see them there. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So yesterday we ended in May of 1977, and then the next entry is September 18th, 1977. So we're going to jump ahead a few months. So we were talking about Grandpa Alec's stepsister Bernice yesterday, and that's where this one starts, September 18th, 1977. Time slips away too fast, and words and history are lost. Bernice Carroll died today at 6:45. She struggled for months to stay upon this earth. Only 2 more months, and her son returns from his mission. The Lord works in ways that are hard for us to understand, but we do know her mission with him is much more important than here upon the earth. At this time, in the Lehigh 2nd Ward in Mesa, I am the Relief Society president. I attend the Young Adult Relief Society at 7:30 a.m. I am so pleased of how organized and how spiritual they conduct themselves in their lessons. They are truly an example of our church. I feel so close to the young women in our ward, and I do have a special place in my heart for each of them. Sacrament services were a nice experience. Ron Slade, a returned missionary in our ward, spoke, and he let us know how much his testimony has grown and how important his priesthood is to him and how prayers are answered. When we keep the Sabbath day holy, Sunday is then an extra special day. Now, one of the good things about me reading what I have typed to y'all is that if I see a typo, I can fix it. So I can go back and fix it. So yeah, unfortunately, Grandpa Alec's sister or stepsister did pass away. But here's a picture of her. This is a picture of her and her sister. Her sister's name is Barbara. So Bernice is on, I think, sometimes it flips it, but I think she should be on the left, I hope. She's the one that looks younger. Bernice is the younger one, and then Barbara is her older sister. Now, obviously, this picture is from when they were teenagers, and at the time of Grandma's entries in 1977, she was 47 years old. So she died when she was 47. So this is obviously an older picture of her, but just so you guys can see who she is. And just for genealogy's sake, so everyone can understand who Bernice is and how she is my Grandpa Alec's stepsister. So my grandpa's dad is Clark and Blanche are Grandpa Alec's mom and dad. They divorced and both got remarried. So Granddad married Ruth, and Bernice and Barbara here are Ruth's children from her first marriage. So that is how they are Grandpa's stepsisters. So just a little genealogy thrown in there so you guys can understand who they are. So, but yeah, she did unfortunately pass away after her sickness with lung cancer. Okay, October 4th, 1977, Tuesday, 9:30 a.m., Relief Society Day. Sister Elva Scott's lesson was spiritual living. The Lord's presence was so very near today, and our Relief Society room was filled and overflowing with the sweet sisters in our ward. A non-member visited our ward, and at the end of the lesson, she asked to buy a Relief Society manual and signed up to babysit in our nursery. She was so impressed with our meeting. I am sure that she will become a member. I know people are really looking for the gospel and that we really need to be missionaries right in our own homes and neighborhoods. After Relief Society, a neighbor called me, Barbara Allen, and asked, what can I do to help Lucinda Hale get ready for her mission? And what can I do to help Lucille Branch feel a part of us and help her to feel more secure? How blessed I am to have such great friends who want to do their part and live the way the Lord wants us to do. How full my heart was as I bore testimony that God lives and his prophet directs our church today. Yesterday, I received a letter from our missionary son, Steve. He has been out 1 year and 1 month. He is really telling us to get our missionary work done. And as I received a special issue of the New Era and Ensign on missionary work, those are 2 church magazines, I realized how important it is and what a wonderful thing to share the gospel with others. My day was complete as I went to the temple to do work for those passed on. Days like this really make my testimony grow and my love stronger for the gospel and those around me. I love hearing her testimony. Definitely through doing this and hearing her testimony, it has definitely strengthened mine, and hopefully it will help strengthen y'all's too of our Savior and the gospel. All right, October 7th, 1977. I feel so blessed this day for the opportunity of attending Church Education Day for Relief Society Enrichment. Sister Elaine Cannon from the BYU education system spoke along with others. Sister Cannon is one of my most favorite speakers, and I cling to every word she speaks. She talks on how to be a better woman in the church, in the community, and in our home, with people, and most of all, to fellowship those around us. It started at 8:30 a.m. and we broke for lunch. Several of us ate out and had an enjoyable time. As we went back for the afternoon session, she called upon me to give the opening prayer. As I was going up front, she must have sensed my fear, so she told of the prophet asking her to close a meeting that the general authorities were attending and how scared she was and how fast her heart was beating, and she silently asked the prophet, "Why me?" By this time, she had put her arms around me and squeezed my hand and turned to me and said, "Now are you ready?" I was, and the prayer came easily. She went on to talk till 4 p.m. What a sweet, delightful person. How full and how eager I am to help those around me and to serve better in my community. I hope I can carry these feelings from now on and not let tomorrow forget about today. I am serving at this time with May Tiffany as education counselor and Mary Lou Wilbach of homemaking. I hope we can share these feelings to our sisters so they may be more aware of those around us and have a need to help others. We cannot change others, but we can help them to want to make changes. Just to like kind of put in perspective where grandma was in her life at this time. So this was in 1977. So grandma would have been 42, turning 43 that year. So, which is basically like my age. So kind of put that into perspective of like where grandma is in her life. She's 42, 43 years old right now in these entries. So, all right, continuing on. October 21st, 1977. Each year, as Knowing Your Religion series comes around, we usually attend each series with good friends Carol and Roger Mortensen. This Friday was a special one. Brother Pratt from the BYU Church Education System spoke, and I can remember him saying, "How do you know you love yourself? Look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I love him?" It was the first time I really felt that I had love for myself, because I knew in order to love my mate as much as I do, I would really have to love myself in order to radiate that special love to him. October 22nd, 1977, 2 a.m. Saturday. We attended a special 2 a.m. temple session during its 50th anniversary commemoration. It was really a rare treat to take in the early morning spirit and see all coming and going with such sweet smiles and sweet spirits. Junice E. Driggs, Stacy D. Garn, and Glenn T. Warner are the Arizona Temple presidency at this time. With such wonderful things happening in our lives, why is it so hard to live right? Why can't we have such feelings every day? I guess we really could if we would fight Satan a little harder and only take in the good things. When I think of attending the temple and doing the Lord's work, I think of the quote from Eliza R. Snow, or possibly Lucy Mack Smith. She couldn't remember which one. Let us all watch over each other so we might sit down together in God's kingdom. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. And I love at that time, it was just called the Arizona Temple because it was the only temple in Arizona. Now it's referred to as the Mesa, Arizona Temple because there are, eight Arizona temples with more on the way? So that's pretty cool. But the Mesa Temple is where me and my husband were married, so always holds a special place. All right, moving on to Thanksgiving, November 24th, 1977. Thanksgiving Day. The morning was quiet, and Alec had gone to work. Lori was still sleeping. She enjoys sleeping in, so I let her enjoy this pastime for a while. Then I woke her up to start the day's preparation for the Thanksgiving feast. We are not having a turkey, so the preparations were not too many. The Monday before, Lori and I made capricornias for place names, but forgot them on Thanksgiving Day. Made from ice cream cones, steamed in double broiler, bent like capricornias, and filled with candy corn. That's what they made. I will say sometimes the placement of sentences may get a little confusing, but I'll do my best to read them. Lori and I prepared vegetables, made pies and cranberry jello salad. We made round steak roll-ups for our main dish. About 3 p.m., Jim, Jeanette, Clint, and Tanner arrived with smiles, hugs, and kisses. I'm sure most know, but Jeanette is Peggy and Alec's oldest child, and her husband, Jim, and their 2 kids at that time, Clint and Tanner. How fun to have your children and grandchildren come to visit and help with the celebration. It was also Granddad Clark Hunt's birthday, so we called and let everyone wish him a happy day. He is living in Elfrida, Arizona at this time. Alex came home long enough to visit and eat and then back to work. We had many blessings to be thankful for. All of our children are in good health and are all active in church. And all of them come to us when in need or problems arrive. For this, we are very thankful. We do at times like this miss our son very much, but we know he is busy about his Father's work, and there will be many other days he will spend with us. The Lord has certainly blessed us this year, and we are grateful for the blessings and joys that are ours. For me, it's just fun to think about Grandma and Grandpa literally like my age right now. I mean, I'm 39, so they were, 4 or 5 years older than me. well, I mean, they're much older than me, but me right now. So it's really fun to read these and just like think about the space of life they're in. I mean, I don't have grown children and I don't have grandbabies yet. My baby is 13, but it's just so fun to like think of them like in my stage of life right now and like what they're doing and all the things. So it's super fun for me. Hopefully it is for y'all as well. Okay, so we're going to jump from Thanksgiving to Christmas. December 25th, 1977. This was a Sunday. It was a hurried month, but a nice one. 2 weeks before Christmas, the tree was snowed. Ivory flakes whipped with meringue. Maybe someone can elaborate on that for me if you know. And red bows and red and white checkered bows decorated the tree, with red ornaments and a few red tree hangings and candy canes all over the tree. Stockings I made out of denim material with patched toes and heel and animals stuffed in the pocket at the top. It looked like Christmas, and it seemed that everyone was in the spirit. I had made my grandson a pair of chaps and vest with leather trim and real conchos with leather strings. I decided he needed a stick horse to go with it. It was really fun making them, but this 3-year-old was not as impressed with receiving them as I was making them. We waited for Jim, Jeanette, and Clint and Tanner because that's the fun thing about opening presents. Clint said, "Grandma, if you think I'm wearing this, you're crazy." We had our traditional breakfast ham, waffles, and eggs. Clint, our oldest grandson, didn't want to wait till we got through eating, but he didn't get to open our gifts until 10 a.m. Alec's mom and stepdad always come and help us celebrate that morning, and we love to have them come. The gifts were passed about, and everyone was happy, but I was so proud of my daughters. They had made their gifts to us and were so pleased with themselves. Because we knew this is coming from the heart, we unwrapped a beautiful hanging lamp from Lori, made from beautiful shades of brown yarn. Jeanette handmade us a hanging table out of, what's it called? Macrame? No. I know how to say this word. You guys know what I'm trying to say, hopefully. With a glass top. What a joy it is to me because of their loving handiwork and the hours of love that went into it. This is what sharing a Christmas gift is all about. The kids spent most of the day there, and we really enjoyed the spirit of that day. This was the first time in a long time that Christmas fell on a Sunday. There was not any Sunday school that day, but we did attend sacrament meeting with all the kids. I can see all of us still have some teaching to do. Clint, who is almost 4, still wants to know why we can't see Heavenly Father when we go to his house. We talked to Steve this evening. He sounded great. I know how hard it must be to be so far away from home at a time like this, but I know because Steve knows how important the Lord's work is, these things are not quite so important at this time. It was also special because my mother, Mary Elizabeth Latimer, came to visit on Christmas, the first time in many years. Although she lives in Phoenix and we live in Mesa, we usually see her at the family party just a week before Christmas and not on Christmas Day. Alec was not working on this day, as he usually is, so it was really a special Christmas day. So that sounds like a good day, but that word's going to bother me that I know I said wrong. That's okay. All right, we will finish out 1977, and then we'll end this video. So December 26th, 1977. Alec and I went to Globe to visit his sister and all of their children. They had a Spanish dinner at Sandy and Gary Fuller's. Her second daughter, Gwen and Robert, her oldest daughter, and Bob and Mary, and their son was there. Gwen and Robert always get Robert's mother to make menudo for Alec, and then we bring the rest home to eat. We had a nice day and visit with them and really love and appreciate the sweet family for the love they show us. We always feel so close to all of them and enjoy their closeness they have one with another. Alec's sister is Martha Louise Hawley, and her husband is Wendell Hawley. So there's some people that we need pictures of. I'm sure I could probably look them up, and maybe I can show them on the next video. Or if I find them, I'll just put them right here. If I find them. All right, last entry of 1977, December 31st, 1977, Saturday, New Year's Eve. We had a little get-together at Chuck and Marie Miller's from the Mesa, Lehigh area with Corbin Gray and Vonda Gray, some of our best friends here in Lehigh. We played games and visited and ate homemade donuts that Marie made, and they were super good. Vegetables and dip were also enjoyed. All of Marie's children stayed up and watched the new year come in. The older ones went to a dance. As 12 o'clock came, we turned on the TV and watched the countdown on the new year. Everyone wished everyone a new year, and then we left for home. It was a good year, and we really enjoyed it with our good friends. So that comes to the close of the first year that Grandma Peggy wrote in her journals, 1977. So if anybody has any pictures of Sandy and Gary Fuller, Gwen and Robert, Bob and Mary, those were the ones mentioned in here. Let me see if I have any other on my list here. Nope. Those are the only ones I have from that. So if anyone has pictures of them that you want to send me for when I put this all in a book, that would be awesome. But we will end there for this episode, and then in our next episode, we will jump into 1978.